Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to today's USCAD Infrastructure Tuesdays webinar. Today, we're going to go through the Project Explorer, specifically in 2022, though the Project Explorer is available for 2020 and 2021. I looked specifically at 22. My name is Doug Benoit, and I'm a solutions consultant / senior technical specialist here at USCAD. As we go through here, I do have the chat window open. I'll try to keep my eye on that the best I can. If it's a simple question, I will try to answer it quickly. If it's something that I think might be a little bit longer, I'll reserve that towards the end. So hopefully that's okay. So with that, I'm going to go into the next slide. I'm going to go through the next slides fairly quick. Currently, this is the civil team at USCAD. You've probably heard many of these others before. So you got Ron and Aaron, Michael, Katie, and then Brian, who is our, I'll use the word IT, but he's probably not really that, but he's more on that side of things. So, so again, I'm not going to go into too much detail there. Okay, and this is a little bit about me. I've got over 20 years in this industry. I was at a consulting firm in St. Paul for 13 years, and then I've been doing this for now a little over 20 years. And I'll say my area of expertise, if you can call it that, was site, sewer, water, streets, things like that. But I know other things that come with the Civil 3D applications. So, and this is one of the new ones. This session is being recorded and will be made available. You can see it at uscad.com. So if you want to take a look at it later, you can find it there. The next two sessions are going to happen. We're not quite sure what they're going to be yet, because I'm not going to blame Autodesk, but Autodesk is kind of in control of things, because the new software, the 2023, will start coming out, in about a month-ish. Civil 3D 23 will come out about mid-April. So some of those things are going to be what is new in those products, but we can't say anything about that because of the embargo that we're under. So kind of keep your eye on that. My guess is AutoCAD will be first. So just because that comes out first. All right, infrastructure universe. So you can sign up, workflows, updates, tools, things like that. Again, uscad.com resources. I'm not going to spend too much time in there. Locations, we got a number of locations. Other than just a cool picture, that's where we're at. There's our, you can read them. There's our locations and addresses and phone numbers. So you can find that online as well. Okay, so today's goal is we're going to jump into the Project Explorer again with 2022 kind of in mind. All right, we'll look at downloading, installing, and launching. We'll look at the interface, creating Civil 3D objects using the Project Explorer. Some of these I will just kind of go through the motions because you guys are using Civil 3D. You know how to create, say, like alignments, things like that. Editing data. The example that I'm going to do today is pipe data, just because I think it's a little easier to see, but you'll see that everything kind of works the same. And then creating tables, reports, and a 2D AutoCAD drawing, again, from the Project Explorer. All right, so let's jump into Civil 3D. So I'm going to see, I got to end this slideshow, I think, in order for me to do this. So, okay. Now, the first kind of topic I had in there was installing or downloading, installing, and launching the Project Explorer. So this is my Autodesk account, and I'm under the architecture. So let me back up real quick. You have to have the AEC Collection to get this. If you have just purchased Civil 3D, you do not have access to the Project Explorer. You have to have the AEC Collection. So you can see that's where I am at. All right. If you've ever been into your account, I just clicked on all products, in this case, in the architecture, engineering, and construction collection. And the Project Explorer is right there. Okay. So I would go to Civil 3D to download Civil 3D, but so the Project Explorer is actually a separate install. You just download it, install it like anything else. You can see right above that is the grading optimization. So again, those two guys are separate. They are not installed as part of Civil 3D, but you have access to both. Again, as long as you have the AEC Collection. Okay. All right, somebody was having a little audio issue. All right, so again, this is where you're gonna find it. All right, and I'm not gonna go click on it and download it. It's already installed. But again, I just wanted you to see where you would find this, or somebody would find this, if you don't have permissions to install. Okay. So installing is just an executable, I believe. You just run it. Civil 3D's got to be closed, and in 2022, it shows up on the Home tab right here. Okay. Now in 2020 and 2021, it shows up in the add-ins. Okay, you get, I think it's on that side of the app manager, I think. All right. So I guess it doesn't matter. Okay. But that's where you'll find it in 2020 and 2021, because that's where it's on mine as well. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and launch this. All right. And this is the Project Explorer. Now I'll make it bigger for now. All right. And basically what you've got here is kind of a one-stop shop for Civil 3D data. I can select alignments that I've got right here. I can actually take a look and see my existing ground and finished ground profiles, where they are at. Anything that is purple or magenta in color can be edited. Okay. Next to that, we've got assemblies. Again, I can modify these assemblies inside of here. All right. This was I used for the intersection. We've got our corridors, and that's showing you a corridor section. Again, I can modify that inside here. I'll run through some of these other things once. I'll just kind of flip through these quick. I did throw some points in here just to have points, but you can see in terms of point groups. All right. Surfaces, I got a number of surfaces in here. Feature lines, and I did throw some feature lines. I will admit, it probably takes a good day or so to kind of get used to what you have access to in the Project Explorer. I think if you just jump into it for like an hour or so, and you may not actually see what the big deal is. But if you spend a little bit of time, there's a lot of things that you can do in here. All right. Now I don't have any parcels. I do have a couple of pipe networks in here. All right. I think this is kind of why I was going to spend a little bit of time editing the pipe network, because it's you can kind of see what's going on a little easier. All right, but it shows you your pipe network. This is, oops, see if I can sneak that off to the side of it. This is modeless, so you can put it into or put it on a different screen. I won't do that to you guys today, but so this network right now is running up along through here. All right. And the reason it's showing me that is because it's showing me manhole 1, through manhole 12. If I want to see the other manholes or the other lines, I can change and select that structure and then the ending structure here. Of course, I don't know if I paid attention enough to remember what those values are, but we've got that. So this is new. In 2022, they've added pressure pipes. I did check, I think it was last Friday. And as far as I know, my 2021 is current. And in the Project Explorer, I did not find pressure pipes in the 2021 Project Explorer version. Now, maybe I need to uninstall my Project Explorer from 21 and then download it and do it again. That's very possible, but I haven't seen an update for it. So you can correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. Yep. So pressure only in 22. Thank you. Yeah, and that's kind of what I thought. But there are times. Now the numbers next to each one of these just tells you the number of items. So like I've got one pressure network, I've got 2 gravity lines, 3 feature lines, 4 points. I got 26 alignments. Okay. And again, that is because the alignments are high because I did the intersection. So you're going to get, and it's a through. So I got 8 there. And then I've got alignments down all the pressure, down the pressure pipes. I think I got 2 or 3 for that. And so again, I've got a number of things going on in there. All right. So again, I don't have any sample lines and blocks. I didn't really set anything up in there. And then we'll get into the report options, towards the end. I'll run a couple of different things so you can kind of see. It's actually pretty neat. It's actually something I've kind of been asking for. I think we've all been asking for many, many years, is the ability to create our own reports. So, and I'll run through that pretty quick. All right. I've got a few notes. I just want to make sure that kind of hit everything. Okay. The Project Explorer is kind of broken out into 3 different windows or panes. Let me go back to the alignments. The first one is your preview or view pane. This is where we can see, just like when I clicked on the corridor, okay, I get a preview of what that data looks like. All right. The second area is the object pane. So this is where we can see, here's our alignment, my finish and existing ground. Okay. And then the bottom is your sub object pane. So when I'm looking at the alignment, it's showing me my points, the stations. All right. So the starting, easting, ending, all that good fun stuff. And there are additional buttons and tabs in here. I'll run across that. Now I don't have, I did not I apologize for that. I should have data referenced something in here. I think the data shortcut will show up. You just can't do anything to it. Again, maybe somebody can correct me again. I'm sorry, but I should have done that. I was just trying to put some data together, and I didn't even think about throwing in a data shortcut. But I'm willing to bet. I wouldn't bet a lot of money on it, but I'm willing to bet that your data shortcut will show up in here, because Civil 3D does see it as data or Civil 3D data. You just can't. You won't. Nothing will be. It'll all be. I'll say black text. Okay, that's my guess, and I can confirm that later, and maybe try to kind of put something out there, maybe. But anyways, yeah, I'm willing to bet that's probably what's going to happen. Okay, across the top in this case with the alignments. Now some of this I don't really have created, like superimposed. This just allows you to display or not display, like the layout profiles. Now it's just the existing ground. Okay. Show hide surface profiles. So I turned off the existing ground. Now I'm displaying the finished ground. So you can turn off the data that you want. Yes, I can turn the camera off. I will do that right now. I kind of find it distracting as well. So I'll turn that off. There we go. Better? Okay. Hopefully that's better. So again, you can turn things on and off in here. Again, I don't have, again, corridor profiles created. I don't have offset profiles, but again, you can turn those off and you can see when I turn them off down here. Okay, and somebody did come back and say, the DREF, you can see them. You can compare them and change styles. You just cannot edit them. Yeah. So you should be all set there. Okay, so again, we can turn off the display. We can compare things. As an example, if I want to compare this feature line, I can compare that to other data in the drawing. So if I want to compare that to the existing ground profile, all right. Now I believe this feature line, I think, crosses the road. All right. So if I come over here and show, and this is the alignment 1, okay, it's going to show you, okay, that existing ground profile. So you can actually see that information displayed or compared to what you're looking at. All right. Now, the very first couple of buttons, this allows us, just like we were in on the home tab, to create an alignment, do a best fit, create alignment from objects. So from inside the Project Explorer, we can do everything that we would have done outside of it. Okay. Same thing here with our surface profile, profile from file, create profile from corridor. Okay. Assemblies are the same way. I can come here and create an assembly. So again, you've got those options. All right. I'll just go back to here. And then along the bottom, you can see the scale that you're looking at. So I can change the scale. I can turn the grid on and off, the axis on and off, text on and off, turn the shading on and off. So like right now, when I pick, say, my finished ground profile, I can turn that shading on and off. Okay. If I go down into preferences, right, I can change color for those things. Okay. So why am I getting this? Why am I getting magenta? I think that's probably magenta for the primary profile shading color. That's because in my preferences, that's what's been set. Okay. And you would just go through these. If you want different colors, you just set them up that way. Okay. So those are your preferences in Project Explorer. Okay, I'm going to cancel there. And then the layout. Okay, what do you want to see? All right. So the layout options, we can turn things on and off down in this list down here. We can also use the arrows to move things around. And when we go to create a table in the drawing, we'll also get this window to where we can say, this is how I want this data, and this is the data I want to see. Okay, so again, you'll see this dialog box or window again. Okay. Again, down here under the data, anything that's, again, purpley color, magenta, can be edited. If I go to, I'll pick on pipes because I'm going to pick on pipes kind of as a whole. All right. Now, the other thing that I didn't mention yet is you can select multiple items just by typical shift left click, control left click. So if I wanted to select this structure in this case, and I wanted to do this one and this one, I could do that. Okay. If I wanted kind of a list of them here, I can do a shift left click and grab a few of them. Okay. And if I right click, all right, so like in this case, if I wanted to swap parts, where is my part? Probably way the heck over here. Gotta find it. I can actually come in here and select all of them or whatever I need. And I can say, I want to swap parts, and this will let me swap that part or size to something else, which is something you can't do out of the box. So this is kind of why I picked on this. because I will say that's sort of one of my issues with the pipe networks in Civil 3D is that we can't swap multiple parts. Okay, but using the Project Explorer, we can. Okay. All right, just trying to, again, I got some notes here, just want to make sure I'm covering things with it that I want to cover. Okay. Okay. So kind of the old saying, when in doubt, right click. Okay. Again, I just did a right click inside here. All right. Right clicked on the object itself. All right. Notice I've got a rebuild corridor, rebuild all out of date corridors, rebuild all corridors. So again, with this, you could probably, unless you needed to go into the styles themselves for some reason, you could probably turn the tool space off, because this is basically giving you access to everything that you would need to modify. You still have the contextual ribbons when you pick on something. Just giving you, again, sort of a one-stop, all in one place to find all that data and make changes. Okay. All right. So you can go into the layout and move. You can also, let's see if I can, baselines, automatic rebuild, corridor. Well, I can move one. You can also just drag and drop your columns. Okay, so similar to the panorama, you can move your columns around, or even in the tool space itself, you can move things around. All right. You can sort columns. Okay, so again, your typical, I'll say Microsoft kind of things. Okay. Shortcut keys. I'm just kind of flipping through here. Again, my notes really quick. You can actually go to keyboard shortcuts. All right. So there's Z for zooming. Again, some of the stuff I don't necessarily do in here because it's kind of a single window. But P to pan. All right. You've got S for select the selected Project Explorer object, C for clearing. Okay, and a few more. Okay. Again, I'm not going to go into too many details on that. The other thing too that you can do is you can modify the panels. Okay, so right now they're all horizontal. If you want a slightly different look, you can change that. Okay. Okay. Again, editing in the Project Explorer, anything magenta or purple you can edit. Double clicking will open up, depending on what you double click on. So in this case, I can change the corridor name. Okay. I could come over. Okay. Double click on the code set style. So again, depending on what column you select or double click on, will give you a different option. Okay. So a little bit of editing. Again, I went through the comparing. I'll just go through the list of things that you can compare. So feature lines, you can compare to a surface. You can compare feature lines to an alignment. You can compare existing ground profile to finished ground. Okay. You've got to compare in the sub object window as well. Okay. So, all right. So now in terms of editing, I'm just going to make a few edits. Again, I'm picking on the pipes kind of on purpose. I'm going to just make this a little smaller. Okay. Now I have the pipe name label on there as well as the length, size, and type. I use this in the profile view to figure out what pipe is what. So I kind of left those on for now. But what we've got here is I want to flatten this pipe. Okay. Out of the box, I'd have to do each one separate. Right. I want to hold this grade. I just want to flatten this out to 0.4 or raise it again, whatever you want to do. Right. So what I would do is I would select the pipe networks tab. Okay. And I want to go from manhole 1 to manhole 4. So I come up here and I change this. And I go to manhole 4. All right. I then hit edit pipe run. Okay. And then in here, I can tell it to hold, again, very similar to Civil 3D in terms of holding the start elevation or holding the end elevation. I want to hold the end elevation. Now I threw, again, labels in here just so that I could make sure I'm grabbing the right one. All right. So if I hold the pipe run, you can see I got a 96.15, which is what I've got there. If I select the other one, that's 9807. Okay, again, which is right there. So I'm going to hold that pipe end, and I can just change this to 0.4. Okay, you can see I've got some other things in there. You can ignore some of my warnings. I don't think I adjusted my pipe run or pipe distance or minimum distance. So I might have some flags out there, but that's okay. All right, so I pick OK. And you can see I just did something, again, we cannot do in Civil 3D. Okay. Yes, we can reapply the rules, but I typically only suggest that at the very beginning. This is a lot quicker because I didn't have to go edit the rules and then find the reapply. I just selected the two structures that I wanted, hit edit, change the slope. I'm all done. Okay. So again, to me, this makes the window very worthy. Okay. Now I can go down to pipes. The one thing I didn't pick out or point out is depending on the object you're dealing with. In this case, I've got all my structures. So when I did the swap parts, okay, I was just dealing with the structures. If I want to work with the pipes, again, I can come over here. I can select this. Again, I can say swap parts. All right. Again, just something we can't do in Civil 3D. So I think I've got 8-inch. So if I wanted 10-inch, I just select it. And now, of course, probably the one I just selected was the 10-inch. Let me come in here and I'll do a select all. Now let me come in and go swap parts and I'll pick 10. Okay. So now they're all 10, which I think is over here. If I can find it, there we go. So inner height or inner width, so 10-inch. Okay. So again, just something I think that's worthy. Again, I'm trying to show you something that's fairly simple. All right, but it applies across the board. Okay. Just aid in linking of codes for assemblies. I guess I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure what you mean by that. Yeah, if you want to, you can clarify that. Awesome. Otherwise, shoot me an email. I think I have my email at the back end of the PowerPoint, I think. And kind of let me know. Yeah, because I'm not sure what you're at. Oh, does it bring up the help file? It does not look like you're going to get access to the help file in here. Types, styles. Yeah. It doesn't, yeah, it doesn't look that way. So, um, yeah, it doesn't look like there's any help in here. Um, this allows you to create an assembly, but it doesn't give you access to the tool space and the sub-assemblies as far as I can see. So if I select this, let's just call this junk divided, that's fine. I pick OK. I'll just plop it right here because I'm going to get rid of it. Okay. So it created that, but I don't see where it gives me access. I think you're still going to have to fire up the tool palette to get those. Let me turn off my camera. So I guess that's still being a little bit of a problem. There we go. Camera is off. Okay. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't, again, if I'm understanding the question correctly, it's not really giving me access to any help files. Again, with that, I'd have to go into the palette, tool palette, and it looks like I still have to come here to add the sub-assemblies. So again, if I'm understanding the question correctly. But again, I do know what you say. I don't see like an assembly properties in here. Show assemblies, grid, sub-assemblies, allows me to edit them. I really don't see anything in here that allows me to go to oh, it does have assembly properties way down at the bottom. So you're still going to have to come into here and you still have to go to help here. Hopefully that answered it. Okay. All right. All right. So again, okay. Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So the question was kind of, what are the codes and things like that. I will admit, see if I can, let me get rid of this guy here. Hopefully I didn't have too much selected. I do that silly sometimes. I will admit, I've been in Civil 3D since pre-release in 2004. And to this day, I still cannot tell you what A, B, C, D, E, F, G are on the curb and gutter general. I don't know. I think this is because I don't necessarily pay attention. But I always have to take a look when I mean, I kind of vaguely remember, but sometimes I get them mixed up. So when I'm dealing with curb and gutter, especially that one, I actually have to look at the help file to remind myself what those values are. So I get it. Yeah, I totally get it. Yeah. And with Civil 3D, it's all about data management. Keeping things straight, giving things names so that when you're looking at something, and I do know that some things you can't give names to, but again, it's, we do our best. All right, you get out of that. All right. So the last thing, again, I didn't want to spend too much. We don't have a lot of time with these as a whole, but I wanted to give everybody kind of an introduction. And again, remember, this is modeless. I do have it on my main screen, but that can go off into another screen. All right. And again, editing is, again, depending on the object, is going to be slightly different, but for the most part, the same. Okay. Now, the last thing that I've got is tables and reports. All right. So I am going to create a few things in here. All right. And again, I'm going to pick on this guy here because what I think I will do is I'm going to come back down into this and I'm going to make my tables dynamic and I'm going to change the size of the pipe back to 8. So again, you can see that change. But where we make the reports, we go to this object sets. Okay. So in the object sets tab, the first thing that we do is create a new object set. And in here, I'm just going to give this a name. Again, I could be doing the storm sewer. Again, I'm trying to keep it so it's quicker. So this is the name of my sewer. I could call it sanitary sewer. It's just a name. And this is going to be pipe table. Okay. I'm going to ignore the description. I typically, or personally, I don't do descriptions all that much. To me, if I can look at the name and I go, oh, that's sanitary sewer, it's a pipe table, I don't need to read, I don't need to take the time and say, oh, this is sanitary, the pipe table for sanitary sewer. I saw that in the name. So to me, it's not worthy of time spent. So again, unless I need to, I don't. Under the object set action, this is where we tell it what we want to create. So we can do a text file, CSV, PDF, HTML. Okay, we can do a drawing, a 2D drawing file. I'm going to show you that at the end, right? We can do tables in paper space or model space. I'm just going to do it in model space. It doesn't really matter, right? I'm going to make it dynamic. And then for now, I'm just going to use this kind of default thing, all right? The same thing with the title style text template. I'm just going to leave that, right? And then for the table style, I'm going to leave that. I am going to pick an insertion point because I don't need it coming in at 0, 0. So I'm just going to pick a point. And this point is going to be somewhat temporary. And I'm just going to go high enough. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and pick OK. Right. Now to this table or this object set or to this table, I'm going to add data. Okay. Now, in the add objects to object set, I'm going to go to my pipe network, and the process is the same, regardless of what you're doing in here. I'm going to pick my sanitary, pick OK. All right, I get this big monster table, and then I want to compare that to the final surface. All right. And this is currently what my table looks like. Basically, everything is that might be turned on. That's what I got. All right. So again, let me just slide this over a little bit. That should be okay. Now that it's thinking a little bit. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into my object set or my table. And now this is where I'm going to come down and say, use a specific layout style. And I'm going to edit that stuff because you can see this is void. Now I could browse out to, it would be like a template, like grabbing something you've already created. Right now, I don't have anything created. Well, I do, but I'm lying. Okay. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to change what I am going to create the table for under the pipe network column chooser. I'm going to go layout for pipes. Okay. And this is why that table is so big, because all this stuff is turned on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to uncheck everything and then just check the stuff that I want. Okay. All right. I'm also going to go down here and I want the inner width. Right. And I'm going to move this up. Now I got to remember where the heck I'm at. Inner width. I want to move that down. There we go. Okay. So that looks good. I can also come in here and say, and rather than seeing inner width in here, I'm going to put diameter. All right. This is the parameter name, but this is just the column name. All right. So that looks good to me. I'm going to go ahead and pick OK. All right. I'm going to go ahead and just, I've been saving over the top of this. All right. And then I'm going to go over to my table style. And I'm going to set my table style up. So what do I want for colors? Do I want a background color? I'm actually going to change this to this kind of green. I want all uppercase because we typically want all uppercase. And I could change the title. colors and text height, the header and the data, right? I'm not going to, you'll see this will be enough for what we're doing. I am going to use background colors, right? Again, I'm going to go ahead and pick OK. It's going to ask me to save. So you're basically saving like a template that you could use over and over again. All right. And that looks good. I'm going to go ahead and pick OK. All right. And then I'm going to, now it still looks, it's really big still. Okay. That's because I have to come here and tell it that I don't want the structures list. I want the pipes list. All right. And then I've changed, I'll say the table, but I need to change this or get rid of it. So if I go to the object table, I can tell it not to use the object table. And that'll give me just the table I'm after. So if I look at this again, I might have some things that you wouldn't put on there. That's quite okay. But you can see there's my pipe name, my style, my diameter. Okay, start, end, slope. So everything that I told it. Again, this is something that I've wanted for Civil 3D, basically since Civil 3D gave us reports. Okay, I've always wanted the ability to create my own table with the information that I want. Okay, all right. Now, you can move this. You can also, I could have done this at the same time. I could actually pick a different insertion point. So if I came down here and I pick this, okay, and I pick OK, it'll just move that table down where I tell it to. Again, I can move it. It's just a table. All right, got grips. Okay, but you can do that. All right. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my pipes. I'm going to go to my pipes. I'm going to select all. Right. And I'm going to swap parts. I'm going to go back to that 8-inch. And as long as if I made that dynamic, okay, it updated. So again, as I make changes, okay, that table is going to update that kind of thing. All right. So again, really cool what you can do in here. Now I'm going to go back to my object set, and I want to create a report. Okay. Well, I've already set this table up. So if I right click on it, I can copy it and I can then paste it. Right. I can then double click on it and I can say that this is a report. All right. And then I just change my action, my object set action. And I'm going to do, and again, I could pick any, I'll do an HTML because I've already got my browser open. I pick OK. All right. I select it and I just say run selected action. And in this case, it generated that report for me. Okay, with all the same columns. And again, this could, again, remember, it could have been a text file, CSV, or again, anything on that list. Okay. Now, the last one I'll do is I'll create a 2D drawing. So again, if you needed to send something to, again, somebody's just using AutoCAD, all right, and they did not need the data or could not use it, I can create another object set. And I'm just going to call this, I'll just call it ACAD. Whoops. ACAD. And we'll just say 2D. All right. I go down to my object set action. I change this down to a drawing file. Okay. Right now it'll open, and this is where it's going, and that's okay. I just go delete it, but it's going into my documents. I just go ahead and pick OK. All right. Again, I'm just going to run selected action. Oops, sorry. Forgot to add data to it. Kind of like creating a corridor surface and forgetting to add links or feature lines to it. Now, I'm not going to add everything. I could. If I come in here, I can actually select all or check all. And then I could go down the list and say, this is what I want to send. I'm just going to do a few things, just again, in terms of speed. So I'm just going to grab whoops, not that alignment. this alignment. So I'm grabbing the main alignment here and the main alignment here. And again, since I've been abusing the pipe networks, I'm going to come in here. And now in this case, I'll grab them both. Okay, I'll pick OK. Now I can run that. I can select that and then run the selected action. And I'm going to go ahead and open up the file so you'll see it brought in just the date I told it to. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. Yeah. So somebody came back and I wasn't paying attention, but somebody did come back and say for their curb and gutter, they've got their values set, preset. Awesome. I mean, that's a good way to go. We don't do a heck of a lot of design work at USCAD, so we typically just use what's there. But yeah, that's a good way to go. Setting things up, putting them on a pallet. Then you can also share them. So, okay. All right. Any questions on anything? If you've been using it, if you came from 2020 or 2021, it really hasn't changed a heck of a lot. The big thing is that we got the pressure pipes in 22. So if you are in 22 and you're using pressure pipes, all right, let me get out of this file. I'm not going to save it. All right. So again, you've got things that you can do in here. I threw this pressure pipe in here about as fast as I could. So if there's some little issues in here, I'm not surprised. Again, I really put it in there as quick as I could just to have it. So again, because that's the change between the two previous versions and this version. So, all right. So let's see if I can get back into. Going to have to do a little sneaky stuff here. There we go. So now I got to go way back to the end. Okay. All right. So I jumped into Civil 3D again, pretty easy stuff. If you haven't downloaded, install it, I certainly would. It's really pretty cool. And that's your Project Explorer. All right. Again, kind of my goal today was, so it might come in a little backwards. That's all right. All right. Is just kind of show you where you can download it from. So if you want it, or I'd like to perhaps test it, where you can find it. Installing it is like anything else, as long as you got permissions. Launching it, it's on the Home tab in 2022, on the add-ins on 2020 and 2021. Again, quick overview of the interface, showing that you can create Civil 3D objects in the Project Explorer. Again, with the assemblies / sub-assemblies, again, there might be a little bit of where you have to go back to the tool palettes. There's probably just a few limitations where, and I didn't see some place where it said fire up the tool palettes or anything like that. Maybe, but again, at least you can start the object creation inside there. Again, I did some editing of the data. I kept, again, fairly simple just due to time, the pipe data. And to be honest with you, the pipe data issues that I pointed out have been kind of a thorn in my side for many years, because I used to do a lot of pipe stuff. So not being able to easily change multiple pipes or swapping multiple parts kind of chapped my hide a little bit. And then creating tables, reports, and then creating a 2D drawing. Okay, so again, that was kind of my goal to get through. Okay, so with that, any any question? Yep, and somebody did respond. You know, it is very powerful. You know, and the response was, when is it not applicable? So, yeah, right on. So, again, you know, if you don't have it, and again, you have to have the AEC collection to get it. And it's just included in the AEC collection. So, all right. Well, if there aren't any other questions out there, do the reports pull any data from storm? I'm going to say no. There's no tie to SSA. If the data isn't there, so let me see if I can jump back into it, see if I can get into it. Let me go here. Let's go here. Let's do another one. I'm just going to call this junk in terms of speed. Again, we'll come down and I'll just do a table. Doesn't matter. Actually, what I could have done, let me cancel here, is I think I can go into here. Pick on pipes. I'll do the pipes again. So what you're looking at here is, you know, I'd have to say this is nothing from SSA. Okay, this is all coming from, you know, the catalog or, you know, what you've created. You know, so inverts and things like that. You're not, yeah, it's not going to pull. Yeah, it's not going to pull anything. It's not going to tie into SSA at all, or storm sewers, for that matter. It's just whatever you're going to get from the catalog or what you're getting from Civil 3D. So hopefully that helps. All right. And if you got something in it, if you wanted to ask something after the fact, there's my email. You know, let me know. On that one question about, I think we got it ironed out, but on the codes, I think you and I were on the same page, but, you know, anyways, with that, we are done. Thanks everybody for joining in today. Hopefully it helped. And if you don't have it, hopefully you go out and get it. All right. Thanks everyone. Bye now.